What's up, guys? It's your host Spartanic Arts DxD back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have What If Issei Finally Lost It Part 2. You guys know the like goal. Let's try to hit 500 likes again. Thank you for all the support on this series. A lot of people liked it. Thank you for the compliments on my voice. It's very nice. And if you guys want to know exactly when I upload, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. Thank you so much for all the support. We are on the grind to 30,000 subscribers, trying to hit 25k. And without further ado, Merry Christmas to all of you. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Chapter 3, Unleash. A month has passed and Issei doesn't really interact much with Rias, Akino, Konako, and Kiba unless it was necessary. However, he was fine with everyone else and would smile around the other ORC members, that most including Irina. During school hours, his two friends may not completely remember what happened last month, but had a vague glimpses of it, but remember what they felt to the fullest. They wouldn't peep on the girls or tell Issei to join them, but instead stuck by his side, tried to make the best of their time with Issei. Issei was still depressed after everything. At night, Ozzy would cuddle with him to make sure he wasn't alone, but if she had a job, then Drake would pull him into the sacred gear and keep him company. Issei got a prescription from a doctor to help control his anxiety and depression. They helped a bit. He bought a small watch and a small alarm for each time he had to take his pills, but unfortunately, some of which went off during class, and he just didn't care if people saw him taking medication. Some of it was for his high blood pressure. Anytime his BP increased without a natural causes would make him tremble, as it reminded him of that day. The teachers and the students all looked at him in worry. His hands would shake whenever any girl or female teacher would ever come near or talk to him. He couldn't make eye contact for more than a few seconds. He had all visible signs of depression, dark circles under his eyes, pale skin. He was skinnier than usual. He was silent and barely made a sound when forced to interact. In those days, all of the kids in Co-Academy noticed the three sitting together and completely ignoring the girls. Not one glance in the past month. They wanted to know what brought on the change. Akia, the lady perv, walks over. "Sup, pervs," says Akia. "Oh, hey, Akia, how's it going?" replied Issei. Akia was surprised at Issei's response. Normally, he would straight up tell her to go away. I'm good? You okay? You seem a little down," said Akia. Matsuda, "Akia, a moment, please." Akia and Matsuda go talk alone. "Akia, we have a favor to ask," said Matsuda. "Sure, but tell me what's up with you three," replied Akia. "Fine. Issei doesn't talk about it much, but let's just say that his heart has been shattered and he's extremely depressed," replied Matsuda. "That actually makes sense. He's usually with Rias and Akino, but most of us notice that he's been keeping the distance from them. That includes Konako and Kiba," replied Akia. "That's about the gist of it. He talks about the other members, but not much, maybe except for Azazel and Irina. Zenobia and Gasper, along with Ravel, join us, but Issei usually spaces out," replied Matsuda. "Yeah, I noticed that when I looked in the eyes. They seem empty. He's gotten skinnier and pale," said Akia. "Yeah, we're pretty worried about him," replied Matsuda. "You two really are friends, not just pervs," said Akia. "No shit, Sherlock. Issei's our friend. We won't leave him in his time of need. I asked to come over, and my dog became his support animal. I even let my doggo go with him some days," Matsuda said. "Damn. There's more to you guys than what's less on a favor, huh?" Akia replied. "Keep it discreet and stop any rumors from spreading, please," Matsuda said. "Sure, I can handle that, but tell me, why did I start shaking when I came over? Why did he start shaking when I came over?" replied Akia. "He's basically afraid of any woman except for a certain few, which includes Zenobia, Irina, Ravel, Azia, and Ross Vice-sensei. He can hardly maintain eye contact with any other woman," said Matsuda. That's why he looks away. The instant we walked over to talk alone," Akia replied. "Yeah," Matsuda said. "Wow, alright, if he needs anything, let me know. We may not look like it, but we are friends. Should just tell me to do it, okay?" Akia said. "We really appreciate this, Akia," Matsuda replied. "You know, you guys are pretty cool when you aren't peeping and looking after one another. We'll see ya," said Akia. "Right, take care," said Matsuda. Matsuda walks back to Motohama and Issei. Over time, Issei would return to normal. He would walk more with the others and open up. He even began talking to Rias, Akino, Kiba, and Konako more, but not too much. Irina would at times stay with Issei. Seeing his recovery greatly reduced her guilt, which did nearly cause her to fall. Her wings were now mostly white again, and safe except for the few black feathers found here and there. Issei also felt happier, knowing that they did not truly care about him. Once even Rias and Akino tried to seduce him by offering themselves. "Hey, Issei, care to join us?" Rias said. Issei looked at them straight in the eyes and refused. He didn't once glance at their bodies. Rias and Akeno asked him why. Issei responded with, Rias. Akeno, I don't feel that way anymore, so just stop it. Their faces disbelief. Pure disbelief. Do you not love us anymore? Akeno replied, I don't know, honestly, but I'm not driven by lust anymore. I need time to get over what happened, replied Issei. And with that, he leaves the ORC room. Both look at the new Issei walk away. He was no longer a perv and became a gentleman. He's become more of a man than we ever thought possible, Akeno said. Yeah, I do miss his touch, though, Rias replied. We can only give him as much space as he needs, Rias. We put him through a lot, Akeno said. I miss him. He's still there sometimes. I can't sense his presence even when he's right in front of us, Rias says. I noticed too. He doesn't even know if he loves us anymore, Akeno replied. I'm honestly starting to wish I could pray, Rias said. Both broke down once again. Now, back to the present. The raiding game was about to start in 1 month's time. Team Rias and Irina were training with Team Citri. Issei and Saji started to train far off into the distance onto the mountain because wild dragon-type sacred gears. Both were duking it out and were evenly matched at first, but Saji gained the upper hand. Give up, Issei. You can't win this match. I had trained a few upgrades. But can it compare to this? Balance break. Drake. Welt's Dragon Balance Breaker. Issei, now in his draconic armor, launched a strong punch towards Saji, who was still managing to dodge his attacks. Not bad, Issei said. Yeah, Azazel gave me a great upgrade at the Gregor. I should have known. Ha! Well, try this. Promotion tonight. Issei's armor became slimmer, and his speed is too much for Saji to dodge. Issei's tacked him into a tree, but Saji took this as a chance to attach his absorption line to his sacred gear. Uh-oh, Issei said. Fast physically, but not mentally, Saji said. Saji began to absorb his power similarly to volley. When he used Divine Dividing, Issei's power continues to drop to the point where his balance breaker falls apart, but something was wrong. Saji, cut the line now, said Drake. What? Suddenly, Issei got up and punched Saji, sever the line. Issei, what the hell, said Saji. Saji looked at him at some kind of white mist manifesting out of the air and solidifying on his face. It turned into a mask, a white mask with red lines, just the cuts on his face. Issei, said Saji. Issei opened his eyes. His eyes were now yellow and red like fires of hell itself. Issei summons Ascalon and attacks Saji. He dodges and flared his aura in Morse code. S.O.S. Sona felt it. Why did you stop? Rias replied. Get to Saji now, said Sona. Everyone there stopped training and immediately rushed to them and find Issei attacking Saji with full bloodlust. Issei, stop! Rias said. Issei then looked at her in spirits towards her already ready to cut down. Rias barely dodged. She had an opening to attack but couldn't. Issei recovered and was ready to try to slash her again and going straight for her throat. Rias was scared of hurting him again, but luckily Saji sent another absorption line and used it to restrain him. It worked just long enough for Konako and Rosvisa to pin him on the ground. Sona used her magic to bind him. Irina, Zenovia, and Kiba brought out their swords just in case. They all looked at him and saw the mask covering half of his face and his eyes. Saji, the mask! Take it off of him! Zenovia touched it and tried to make it come off, but it wouldn't budge. Issei let out a screech that was a mix of his voice and ones that sent chills through everybody's spine. Rias shot a small ball of destruction and it cracked the mask, which broke off and evaporated into nothing. Issei came to his senses and went back to normal. His skin color was no longer pale, white he had earlier. Guys, why am I pinned on the ground and why are you three pointing your swords at me? You don't remember? Said Ravel. I remember training with Saji, and then I blacked out after he absorbed my power. What happened? Said Issei. They let him go. You really don't remember anything? Replied Rias. No, said Issei. Not even trying to kill Lady Rias? Kiba said. I did what? Don't joke about that, Kiba, said Issei. I'm not. You're still holding Ascalon, replied Kiba. Issei looks at his hands and sees Ascalon in it. When did I... What is happening to me? We should contact Azazel before it's too late. That includes your brother, Sir Zex, said Sona. Yes, everyone cancel training for today. Issei, come on. Right, said Issei. And that's the end of Chapter 3, Unleash. Chapter 4, Azazel Knows. Issei was at the Gregor, and all his teammates were there. Azazel. Sorry, I can't find anything wrong with you. I have no idea what happened to you, and there's no evidence that anything ever happened. He nearly cut me down, Azazel, replied Rias. She said in a sorrow-filled tone. I'm sorry, Rias, Issei replied. The way Issei apologized felt only half real. It was cold, almost as if he didn't regret it. What the hell happened between you and her? Azazel said. Can we please never talk about it? Issei said. Issei, if you won't tell him, then we will. We can trust him. Alright, I'll tell you, said Issei. Issei would then tell him everything that happened, from the drama in the clubroom, his reaction, depression, no desire, etc. Azazel was listening quietly, but his blood was boiling. That explains the shockwaves of coast of Japan into the craters on the moon, but the mask appearing makes no sense. Issei, think back. Did something else happen? Azazel said. Issei goes into deep thought. He starts from the moment he heard to tell him that she let him die only to use him. Tears formed and he begins to shake. The girls quickly hold his hands and it calms him down surprisingly. He manages to look through his memories and remembers something. I remember being attacked after I woke up that day. I was near a bunch of trees and bushes and I heard some twigs snap. I thought it was like a small animal like a wildcat, dog, or maybe a rabbit, or something, so I paid no attention. Then my instincts kicked in, but not before the thing bit me. What thing? Irina said. It was similar to a skinwalker. I read about it, but it was weaker. Ash gray and had horns. It looked like its head was a skull, and there was a hole in its chest. It bit me and then turned to dust. Azazel seemed static, but he was panicking on the inside. Issei. Azazel's tone was fully serious. That thing that bit you was a Vastralordi. A what? It's a hollow, and the strongest one of its kind. Irina, a hollow? A hollow is a monstrous soul-eating spirit that results when a deceased soul is consumed by negative emotions or is forcibly converted by other hollows. All hollows have masks attached to their faces, and a hollow hole somewhere on their bodies. They also have a tendency to attack those who were close to them in their human lives, which they are superficially have no recollection of. How they turn into them is their emotions consume them. A hole represents their missing heart, and a mask shows their identity in a way. There are plain hollows that come in all shapes and sizes, with the most having unique abilities. Those are the low-class mementos. Gillens are the hundreds of menos, eating at each other and becoming one single hollow. They are called menos grande. Azazel pulls out some images from a file. That's a menos grande, and they travel in packs to increase chances of survival because they're surprisingly very weak. The next are called the Judas. They are stronger, faster, intelligent, and cunning. They can even speak, but the next one is the deadliest of all, the Vastralordi. Lucky. They are very, very, very rare. When a Judas become a Vastralordi, it becomes smaller, about the size of an average human. It can even have a human-like body, but their abilities are frightening, close to an ultimate class devil, easily. Those are Judas, which one hollows with their mask removed. They get Soul Reaper powers. All hollows have one primary attack called Suro. It's a powerful beam of energy that can destroy continents, and even the lowest level hollows are that strong. Then how am I not dead? It could have killed me that day. I didn't even sense it at first, said Issei. That's just it. It is nothing but rage and fighting instincts. There is no presence to sense even when it stands in front of you. Most Hollands have one common attack, a Suro, said Azazel. A Suro? Replied Irina. It's an energy-based attack like Issei's Dragon Shot, or Welsh Bishop Blaster. One shot, if powerful enough, can do far too much damage, especially to a continuous beam being fired. Then why didn't it disintegrate me after a bit? Issei said. They need to follow on other hollows to maintain their power, but since there's not enough hollows in the human world, it grew too weak. Wait, if human souls turn into them, then how are there so few hollows? Irina says. The Soul Reapers handle them. It's their job to help them pass over the lost souls. How one Vastralordi ended up in the human world must be a fluke. They are usually in a different dimension once the Soul Reapers pass them on. Maybe this one went undetected this whole entire time. So why did that mask appear? Issei said. My guess is that when it bit you, it tried to consume you since you have drag in you. But being in such a state, you temporarily became a hollow. The three. What? That would explain why you couldn't find anything. There's no presence, thus no way to trace it, Azazel said. Now I'm really afraid, said Issei. Issei now slightly pale again. It got their attention. Irina, we're right here, Issei, don't worry. But what if it happens again, and I try to hurt you, Issei said. You won't. We know it, Azir replied. Not what happened to Rias, according to you guys, Issei said. About that, you skipped Saji and attacked her while ignoring the others. You still hate her? Azazel said. For what she put Azia through, yes, a part of me still does. Rias now had regret and anguish written all over her. Irina. I'm glad you were stopped. That would have made you a stray and public enemy #1. Everyone else's reaction was silent. Is there a way to control it? Issei replied. I don't know, but here. Take this armband, it'll alert me if it happens again. Maybe try going to Kyoto. Maybe the sage users can help to balance out your emotions, but before that you need to talk to them and accept the changes and the sudden revelation. You won't be able to control it if you can't control yourself. It might just consume you entirely. Azazel attached an armband right away where he was bitten. Thanks, we can always count on you, Azazel, said Issei. Happy to help. Now don't you all have a raiding game to prepare for? You don't have long, you know, Azazel said. Right, thanks again, said Issei. They all leave. Be safe, Issei. This'll be hard for not just you, but those around you, Azazel said before Issei walked out. And that is the end of Chapter 4, Azazel Knows. Chapter 5, Change. They all went to Issei's home. He started walking straight to his room, but then was stopped by Akano. Hey Issei, are you okay? Akano says. Yeah, why do you ask? What do you mean why? Because we were worried about you, Akano said. Oh, Issei replied. Issei continues to walk to his room and everyone just stared on in silence. Too much has happened to him. I'll go talk to him, Rosvisa said. I think I should, Rias replied. Let Rosvisa try. None of us managed to do much, so maybe she can't. She, Irina, and Ravel are the only ones who didn't blame him that day, and it's not fair to make Ravel fix our problems, Zenobia replied. Okay, fine, Rias said. Rosvisa goes up to Issei's room and knocks. Come in, he says in a low, empty voice. Rosvisa opens the door and sees him sitting in the dark. What little light going through the curtains was all that illuminated in the room. Something you need? Issei said. We need the old you, Rosvisa replies. Not possible, I'm afraid, Issei said. Look, I'm sure that... Oh, for the love of God, can I just turn on the lights, Rosvisa said. Sure, Issei replied. She turns on the light and sees Issei sitting hugging his knees and is as depressed as ever. You're still depressed about what happened, aren't you? Rosvisa said. Chuckled. What gave it away? Issei said. Rosvisa knew normal methods won't work on him. Issei, think about the others. Don't you want to be a harem king? Fuck being a harem king, Issei said. They all burst through the door and said in unison, What? You don't want a harem? Irina says. That's your dream, Issei, Rias said. Not anymore. I came to the realization, Rias. I was too naive. A fool. I let lust consume me ever since I can remember, Issei said. But Issei, we all want to be a part of your harem, Azia replied. Issei looks to her. I'm sorry, Azia, but I won't do that to you. To any of you, Issei said. What do you mean? Akano says. Think about it. I wanted a harem to fulfill my sexual desires, and that means I would only end up uprising all of the women in the room, and that would make me a piece of shit. No different from Diodora or Riser a while back, Issei says. You're nothing like them, Konako replied. Thanks, Konako. And now that I have no sexual desires at all, I won't be, Issei said. Issei, please. This isn't you. What about the kids who love the Grabbin' Dragon? Irina replied. Issei's eyes went dark. He punched a hole in the wall. Those kids? What have I done? Issei replied. Issei, please calm down. How can I? I exposed them to my perverted nature and probably turned them into the perv I used to be. Fuck, Issei said. Issei punched more holes in the wall repeatedly. All of the group hugs him when he sobs. What have I done? What have I done? Issei says. Issei, it's okay, man. It's okay. No, it's not. I've turned them into someone like me. Issei is now even more broken when he sees the extent of his desires affecting those around him. Should we go to Kyoto and look for help? Ravel said. Not yet. Please just stay like this for a little while. I'm not ready. I'm just not. Rias was slightly happy that Issei wanted everyone to be with him, but confused about how to help him. Guys, don't tell anyone about what Azazel told us, okay? Azazel said. We promise, said Gasper. A week had passed, and the whole time Issei was quiet. He would space out, but he would still find the will to sit with the others, do his job as a devil, and would train, but not to the level it was before. One day, his two guy friends showed up, and Issei hung out with them in his room. He gave them all magazines and DVDs that he had been relating to porn. The two refused at first, but eventually accepted after Issei begged them to take it. They kept it safe and hidden should he ever want them back. Issei and the guys, no longer viewed as the perverted trio, were more accepted in their school. Their grades had improved and enjoyed themselves more. Whenever any of the girls showed up, Issei would look at them right in the eye but never their bodies. That was one of the signs that Issei and his friends had changed. Even Akiya stopped teasing, but would see the ORC members looking at Issei from behind, the bushes, or out the window. Oh, how the tables have turned, Akiya said. 3 weeks to the left of the rating. 3 weeks left to the rating game. Issei remembers his promise to Sourorg. He will give him the fight for his life and change the perception on how people see him. He's not the grabbing dragon anymore. Dreg, Issei said. Yes, Issei? I'm sorry for what you went through because of me. It's okay, partner. It's nothing compared to what you have experienced. You'll be okay, Dreg said. Thanks. By the way, I've been thinking that stupid dress break. What if instead of clothes, I rip out the opponent's magic or energy? Interesting. Perhaps you can undo certain spells after they've been cast, Dreg said. I better start practicing, Issei replied. Issei, we both know that you're in your current state, there's no point. You need to be the determined Issei we all know and love. If you're worried about becoming a hollow, then go to hyoudou but clear your mind and heart. You need to talk to all 4 of them, Jake replied. I suppose it was inevitable, but how do I tell her that I'm not in love with her anymore, Issei says. Issei, I hate people who lie to themselves, so just stop it, Dreg said. Huh? She's in love with you, and you are in love with her. We both know that, Dreg replied. Dreg, it's the truth. I'm not in love with her anymore. Wait, you're serious? Yes. So the reason you are still somewhat ignoring her is because of this? Dreg said. Issei nods in agreement. Damn. Then it's best to let her down gently and tell her in private, Jake replied. Issei sends a message to the 4 and asks them to meet him somewhere private. They responded immediately and chose the park at midnight. Midnight arrives. Thanks for coming, guys. We're happy you want to talk to us like this again, Kiba said. You've only talked to us when you had to, Akane replied. It worried us all, Konako said. Then you guys do care, Issei smiled, a real smile after all this time. It's good to see your smile again, Rias said. Thanks. Listen, guys, I want things to go back to normal, Issei replied. That's what we want too, Kiba said. But there will be some changes. I think we are better off as friends and teammates, but nothing more. They are surprised. Issei, what are you saying? Said Rias. You know exactly what I mean, Rias. No more physically intimate relationship. No falling in love. None of that shit, Issei said. Issei, are you breaking up with us? Akane replied. Yes, Akane, I am. But why? Konako said. All of you already know why. I won't show any favoritism in making the others feel less about themselves. How many times have fights broken out and led to wanton destruction? And Kiba, I'll continue to train with you. Kiba just sits there in silence. I'll continue being your pawn and help you with the raiding game. Continue being a figure in the underworld, but the grabbing dragon is no more, Issei says. There's no way to persuade you, is there? Akane says. She said with tears forming. No. I'm sorry, my antics have gone too far, for too long. Even Dreg, a heavenly dragon, was affected by my shit. To do such a messed up thing is something I need to rectify, Issei replies. None said a word for a minute. Guys, I need to talk to Issei alone. Please give us a minute, Rias said. Sure, Konako replied. She answered for the 3 of them and went home. Issei and Rias were now alone. Issei sits there in silence. Issei, you know that I'm in love with you, and so are the other girls, and I know that. And so do you. So why? Rias said. The reasons I told you earlier. Those, how one tiny mistake led to everything being unraveled. You let Azia and I die. And painfully, I might add. How can I be in love with someone like that? And those who knew about it. You were the love of my life. Just because I didn't say your name, you let it slip? That you let me die? I know that you hate me for that. And I hate myself for that too. But what did you mean by I was the love of your life? Rias replied. Rias, I'm not in love with you anymore. Issei replied. Rias's heart broke and pieces shattered. What? No, Issei, don't say that. Please, she embraced him tightly. I'm not lying, Rias. I can't love ever again. Rias replies. Why not? Rainier manipulated and toyed with my emotions. She used me and killed me. Then you showed up right after and turned me into a pawn only to be used again. And again, you also toyed with my emotions. I didn't have time to support to fix the damage Rainier did, and just when I fell for you, and then all this shit happened. But tell me, Rias, if you were in my place, would you have loved me if I did the same to you? Would you have fallen for me if I couldn't save you from Riser? No, Rias said. Yeah, I figured. I'm sorry, Rias, but our relationship is strictly platonic and professional from this point on. Rias is now crying, holding nothing back. But I'm sorry, my selfishness pushed you over the edge. I didn't even know what you were happening. Please, just forgive me, forgive us. Issei's eyes now red from trying to hold back the tears. He embraced her too, and they both cried to their absolute limit. They cried and stayed in each other's embrace till the sun came up. None of them slept or even moved. Once the sun hit their red puffy eyes, they were both quiet and saw the sun rise. We stayed here all night. Yeah, Issei said. I've thought about what you said. I can't blame you for not wanting to be with the others or me. Ozzy is like a little sister to me. Irina is my childhood friend. Ravel is a good friend and ally. Zenobia just wants some kids and strong ones. It's not love between us. She'll find someone to love and a happy family with. Akano too, and you. Konako and Rosvisa don't see me that way. And I'm okay with that, Issei said. So many lovers, but you want none of them. Why? Rias replies. I don't want to be selfish, Rias. How could I deprive them of their right partners who are out there somewhere when I hardly think I'm worthy of being with any of you? Issei replied. Issei maybe not love the girls like he used to, but he still cares enough to tell them a little bit lie to spare their feelings. You're more than worthy for me, Rias replies. Too damaged for that, Rias. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm a hollow shell of once I was, and I'm afraid that'll hurt you. I remember when I used Juggernaut Drive. You tried to help, and I swatted you away, though I hurt you. Rias looked him in the eyes and let a fresh tear fall down. Rias wiped it away. But I wasn't hurt, Rias replied. But I won't risk it. If my inner hollow takes over, then... It's okay. We'll be there just like you've been there for us, Rias says. Thanks, Rias. Issei, I have 2 final part requests. Sure, anything, Issei says. 1, please call me by my name regardless of the circumstances, okay? Done. And the second? 1 final kiss, Rias says. Issei is a bit taken back by her request. Even after what I said? Yes, we both kiss one last time, pour our heart into it until there's nothing left. Issei looked at her eyes and then her lips. Okay, Rias. Fine. Thank you. They locked eyes and they held each other. They inched closer, and the second they kissed, their eyes closed their eyes. The final kiss was the full extent of their love for one another, and once that kiss breaks, their love will forever end. They held nothing back. This was the final goodbye to their feelings for one each other. After what seemed like eternity, they broke the kiss, and it's done. Rias then looked at the reflection of the sun in his eyes. So see you after school this weekend, huh? Rias said, yeah, I'll see you guys there. Rias then walks away. Are you okay, partner? Drake said, yeah. If I may ask, why not stay with at least one of them? Drake said, no favoritism. It'll just cause more trouble, Issei replied. But you found love, Issei. You sure it was wise to let it go? Drake replied, finding love where it shouldn't be is love that is not meant to last. I don't care if I'm the villain. At least they won't hate each other, Issei replied. Damn, never thought you would be willing to go so far, Drake said. I feel more clear in mind and heart now. Go rest, Issei. You earned it, Jake replied. That's the end of Chapter 5. Change. That is where we're going to stop for today. We ended off with Chapter 5. So thank you guys for all the support once again that's been happening with this series. I really do appreciate it. We officially hit 21,000 subscribers. Like seriously, I cannot thank you enough. Okay, but going to the next one, let me hear your thoughts. Please let me know. Do you guys want like a what if Naruto was betrayed? Because I really want to look for it. My bad. I'm not even going to ask you guys if I want it because I'm going to do it regardless just because I do it. I already said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. When I say something, I'm going to do it. So, it's just because I enjoy it so much. So, again, thank you for all the support. Once again, if you did reach the end of the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you guys want to know exactly when I upload, just click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. They always know a day or two beforehand when I upload a video, so I'll just let everyone know when that happens. So once again, thank you for all the support. I can't believe we hit 21,000 subscribers. It truly is amazing. Okay, I would say it's lucky, but it's all that hard work. So again, shout out to the author for writing the story. Okay, I didn't write it, I just narrate it, and sometimes I fix some dialogues from here and there because sometimes it gets kind of wonky, and I just put, a bunch of emotion into it and things like that. And thanks for the compliments on like wanting to hear my voice and things like that. But once again, I'm going to final off with thank you for all the support. If you guys want to hear what if Naruto was betrayed, I'm currently making the thumbnail as we speak, and I got the story, so we're good on that. And thank you guys for all the support. Without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.